Corona, no they picking, no they watch for. Let me tell you the truth. Social distancing, no they keep passing. So make we all hear you out. Precipitations, take them up. Corona, no limba. Enough have been made.
Fambul, Adu and welcome to we made an edition of the program Let we Tap Corona Na Salone. Na Radio Mount Aureol-CTN Afrabe College, na Freeton joinan with partner radio station them for bring this program to you. And a Foundation Hirondelle na Switzerland, they battle this program with funding from the H2H Network Fund and the Danish Refuges Council. Inside today on program, we dey talk about how for keep we picking them safe na school as them they prepare for take them public examination. And we go look at the role of the school authority them for keep the picking them safe na school. Me now na presenter Bintu Mansare. Let we start the program with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, where been announced say from July 1, the school them go open for 1 month for make them school picking them we get for take public examination where WAEC they conduct get small them for prepare and take them exam them. For the Ibrahim Sharif, the communication specialist at the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, we get this for say to we producer Ahmed Musa.
Well, we have not, as a ministry, we will not make any decision yet for open school for everybody. The schools that we don't open are for just the one that will take the national exam, one are the NPSC, the Becker, and the WASC examination. And waiting make we decide for do that one day. We get picking away, don't reach the age where they for take these exams. And that where schools that be closed, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education will therefore establish the Education Emergency Task Force, and that task force will get 5 pillars. One of the pillars then have been the school reopening pillar, and the school reopening pillar in responsibility have been for advise government and the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education on when we feel saying at the best time for reopen schools then safely, whilst we get coronavirus in our country. So that we don't do the work in the background, they're able to come up with recommendations after their consideration of quite a lot of things. Number one, the trend in the corona fight or the corona disease, looking at other information, other scenarios them. So that we therefore come up with recommendations to manage the leadership of the ministry and the senior officials of the ministry for consider waiting at the recommendations. So having taken a look at their recommendations and considering the fact that Sierra Leone are a member of the West African Examinations Council, we decided say let's call a critical stakeholders meeting and talk about whether we go reopen schools for the one that way for take their exams there. So we reopen, we hold a meeting there and everybody consider all the factors, and some of the people that will participate at that meeting when are the critical stakeholders them like the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, the National COVID-19 Emergency Operations Center. Now they want to manage the coronavirus in this country, and they were part of that meeting. So anything when they're talking at that meeting, they are in guidance of the National COVID-19 control and prevention measures, so they don't put. So now that make we open schools.
So which are the measures then after we will not reopen school for, like you say, for the examination classes? COVID-19 fight.
Definitely, of course, some of the other critical stakeholders that we've been joined with for take this decision. Now the one that would manage coronavirus, they were part of the decision making. Ministry of Health and Sanitation, NACOVAC. So they already, before they talk even about the school reopening, they've already established coronavirus control and prevention measures. We already cover all man. So whether now you're in school now, you're in a law firm you get to, you're in a court to, you're in a keke rider, you're in a bike rider, you're in a taxi driver, the law cover all man. So for the school system, we just enhance and small. For say, before picking the left now, us, we put guidelines them, operational guidelines. Before they left us 8:45 for kind of school, you for don't wash your hand, you for don't get face masks. When you reach a school, you for don't wash your hand again before they enter a class. You forget your face masks on. Then inside the class, the teachers and they ensure say they don't maintain social distancing and all of that. So now then they are all will be there in place where where schools they reopen.
Washing of hands are one key means where people use for get the corona sick. But plenty of people concerned that most of the schools there in the country do not really get that kind wash facility. how the ministry done the work for ensure say some of them think them way they don't put in and measures them, they ensure that they are adequately or at least provided for the school curriculum.
Well, I not say on the day where schools they reopen, some schools they may face challenges with anything, but not now. If you go back now at their schools, then you for don't see say the ministry don't able for provide most of their wash facilities there for the schools. And most schools, in fact, before even school reopening or on the day of the school reopening, most of the schools they may don't already get here. Because from the days of the Ebola crisis, most schools that we get for able for keep them Veronica buckets, them, you know, they we get, then things and what they call wash facilities. So they we get them already. So that make way plenty schools they were open on that day. They already had some in place. And also before schools they reopen, government we don't pay school subsidies of 42 billion loans to all schools that will qualify for that subsidy. And what is school subsidy there for? Now for help school for run smoothly. Right? So now that school subsidy there for. So the school subsidy whatever be pay it goes straight to the internet. So some school leaders then they heads of schools then they will use that money there for buy some of the internet there. Like I can set a typical example like Ansari Islamic Secondary School, Kenema. You know the principal way they for every classroom we say examination candidates and they buy one Veronica bucket from the school subsidy and pin and then the people that were in that community inside the school day, what they call Lumebo, then volunteers say they're going to put water inside the buckets every day. So the community be involved, the school subsidy play a role, then the head teachers, the principal of the school instead play a leadership role. So, but from that time to now, we're not able to secure up to 90,000 face masks them, each for about two face masks to each child, 2 face masks to each teacher. So if you go back now, you check on all these things, and then at the schools they right now as they talk to you.
So how long this reopening of school get for last for?
Until the exams are done. The exams they're supposed to done by September 14.
Basically, this now for just the this reopening get for do with examination.
Examination classes.
Any
exactly.
plans at all for the other type of students then? We not for examination classes.
Well, so far right now we're not getting any plan. With that plan they come, we will communicate with the public. Just like how we decide to go for reopen schools for the examination classes, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education go on and issue a press release, inform the public, we'll go on radio, we'll go on television, we'll make like all man know. If we don't make any decision as to whether other schools then for reopen, we're going to make the same moves and we're going to make the country know, the school picking and the parents, the guardians, the general public then going to know how that they get for happen.
Would I notice anything when they come up in terms of challenge from the schools that we don't reopen right now?
Well, right now we're not going to talk about any challenge because the challenge we've been doing have been some of them PPE materials, so now the personal protective equipment and will be for GE schools, and we don't give that one day now. Now the only challenge we left is for teachers then for put their efforts into preparing the children for when they're able for face the exam. Thank God from the time we school open until now, we not on record one case of a confirmed case of coronavirus in any of the schools. So I will tell God thank you for that one day. And so I would hope say we continue to be optimistic that none of this not going to happen. So for now we not see any challenge yet.
That's now the communication specialist now the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Fodi Ibrahim Sherif, been there talk to with producer Ahmed Musa. After the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School announced say, school them for open for the school picking them we get for take public examination, the various district education committee them been begin for open the school them. Now we hear how Cambia, when at the border districts with Guinea, been prepared for open school them. Yaya Fofana, the Deputy Director of Education, Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School, na Cambia District.
We look at from 3 perspectives. That is before school open. And before school open, what we do as a district is that we able to move and consult with stakeholders and bring them on board from the paramount chiefs and other members and the communities them, we SMC, with board members them, we teachers them, heads of schools. And we made from chiefdom to chiefdom for giving the good news say government done classes 1st July, school for open for the public examination classes. And you not stop there, we tell them waiting them for do. In the first place, they enforce say the school environment both in and outside the classroom for be clean. The school compound them for clean, then for able for sweep and pack the chairs and desk them properly. Ready for the first day of schooling. That notwithstanding, we ensure back against the community people themselves, parents themselves, for support the school in terms of them cleaning, yeah, and also for ensure we begin to get face mask, and we even call on other meaningful citizens that the communities then if they have means to support to begin and teachers there, for make them do them thing. So all those one will be they follow. We do those one through community movement, we do them through community radios there, and then discussion then and various ways they will take for educate on that, and make sure we pick the teachers them all for Kana school. And at the same time, they picking them for make sure the class then will enlarge, we try for separate them, so that, and the teacher then will for cover them all. So those were some of the things that we will put in place before school reopen, right? And so the IPZ materials that are there. When school open, what do we do? We ensure we move. We don't get the district education committee, of which the media are one of them. The forces, ONS, Teaching Service Commission, Pre-Quality School Education, the Council, SLTU, Conference of Principal, Head Teachers Council. You name them, they are all part and parcel of this district education committee. What you do? We put yourself in terms of group for go from one chiefdom to the other and see what thing they happen. What you don't go tell with school authorities there. What you don't go tell the stakeholders there. What you don't be tell with other people there. For ensure that what you don't tell them for do, and that is what exactly is happening. And also go verify those things. And we are happy for say that the compliance rate was very, 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 very encouraging, because all the schools that will be visited, school them being really open, and teaching and learning was in progress, even though we've been challenged in some area in terms of face mask. But that's one we have overcome it now. Because, like I say, as a continuity, we continue for monitor the schools and in terms of then timetable, the way the teacher they appear, ensuring that the teacher then self-attend, and so that the picking them self-attend, we encourage you parents then for them ensure them picking them at school. So all those ones will continue for monitor that one for ensure say picking in the kind of school and teaching and learning they take place. More so because of the COVID in young prevalence, and so say we get Veronica buckets then at the place. There are a lot of people that improvise one way or the other. But now that the ministry from headquarters, don't supply we at the district 969 Veronica bucket and holding bucket and over 500 cartons of soap, of which one now 25 days inside. Those ones then serve the distribution is almost now ending. With those ones then we don't try for and so the one way they will get 3, the one way they get 2, as the case may be. We don't associate, we don't make them matrix and supply them and the 34,000 of face masks we get, we associate, we work with all other people, including Let We Learn, for associate, then face mask, we take them at school, then we take them at class.
So then consignments and we say the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School National been saying how actually una don't distribute them and how una be able to go about the distribution.
Yeah, the way we go about looking at the stock we receive, look at the school then, we look at the role, including especially looking in terms of the class 6, looking in terms of the NPSC, the NPSC, the Becker class and the JSS, because we have those roles. And we look in terms of the general school, because this is going to continue. Everything come on well. September school they open. Assuming. So if that be the case, we also consider that the school not only limit to the classes they're within now. So we also consider their role where they get when are the continuing student there. So that based on that we take for share then item there. Like the first marking, now the one they wait and they now. Now the schools, now then we target. Yes. Now then we target, we associate, then get some, them picking and they all get. As we give the school where sign for them, we join the school authority for associate, we share it to the picking in our class. And so we have visibility on that in terms of pictures and other things across. Then also when we come to this Veronica bucket, holding bucket and soap, like as I say, we look at the school in population and all the rest of it. Then we try now for what we refer to as the matrix, for see how we save this one. Would they get 2? Would they get 3? As the case may be. We work out all those ones. Then we look at now in terms of those chiefdom and then nearest community, and we take the one then to this area there, and we make sure say we teach them collect this one and we get what we refer to as the MTF material transfer form, where then decide how much they receive and we we all supervisor they sign for so say then two they sign and another third person in the community can sign as a witness for say those items has been delivered.
That's Nayaya Fofana, the Deputy Director of Education, Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School, Nakambia District, been the talk to we reporter James Sowa Nakambia. But wetin the various schools them Nakambia districts they do for make sure say the pikin them safe from the coronavirus sickness. A freelance reporter Nakambia district Aisatu Kamara been talk to one Abdullah Conte when a teacher at the Baptist Secondary School Nakasiri inside Samu Chiefdom.
Well, as first we the government we don't announce say we for continue for support this COVID-19 for go out of the own country, and the government we don't provide face masks for students, and although the knockout is Veronica buckets, but we get 1 year who the manager first, and government we don't say the student then for space themselves and then for B25 per a class.
Okay, you see say when they practice am na this school?
Yes, as you they see now because they see inside now where you go just know they see the student then with the space themselves. So we back with the support, we try hard, follow we do your own support, follow we see for say this COVID-19 common sense alone.
So you think say this kind of measures so I don't put so because they see Veronica bucket and picking and get face masks and you don't show me back the school how the picking and this. So you think say this one will continue for do?
Well, we try we own level best. Although just not all picking them they do this, but we try we own level best as we don't promise with government and with the join on follow support this way.
Okay, now I miss their successes here we don't succeed when they do. Any challenge they will they face?
Yeah, well the other challenge we they facing again because government we don't declare this for say all school picking them for can school. But some of the school picking them they go they out of Salone. Now we own border boundary we in Guinea, they go they and because of the border lock they not get chance for let them come inside Salone. So now that challenge right now with the facing now in the school picking then they can at school. The one the way they inside then they can at school always.
Any other challenge they I talk to one school picking this no way tell me say food na challenge not get any possible way they can sell now.
Well the government we don't announce say let not sell food na the market. Let each and every school picking for out new food. But not all Komora they do than they for in picking and not all man get support. Fast then they go for a fire distance. So you see the kind challenge are all with the facing at this school here.
And now we get community transmission. You know see that they risky for the picking them?
Very, very risky, very risky.
So like what they recommend to government?
Well media recommend to government let it allow the market money to sell at the schools there and with the big let them try for support because we back with it we continue try for advice the school picking them and the market them for take off the food them wouldn't sell.
That's na Abdullah Conte, teacher na the Baptist Secondary School na Kasiri inside Samu Chiefdom, but they talk to Aisatu Kamara, a freelance reporter. Mohamed Bangura self na school picking na the Baptist Secondary School na Kasiri, Samu Chiefdom. It been explained about them concerns and challenges them when they face na school.
Yeah, we don't get the face mask, but the Veronica bucket they not supply with it, but they already say they don't come and then they can't supply them.
Now school don't open. Waiting the whole way you get a school picking. Waiting if things a government talks in now na for do.
Well, as a people of Samu Baptist, they will teach us and they advise you say for practice all the preventive measures there for this COVID-19.
Okay.
Like,
so
would they wash your hands? Would they use face mask? And whenever they inside the school compound.
Okay, so you think say we are still they adhere to the measures the way government puts? Yeah. What about the sitting position?
The sitting position, just like waiting, they say 1 meters away. So now we own, particularly we own form now 25 people in the day because we not too boku we they attend.
This now the first week almost we they go to the second week where school open. Any challenge they as a school pick you they face?
Actually a small challenge they but the food mostly because government say they not for sell food na the school, so pass we get for go now near the community for go buy food. So now really that in the money we right now.
You not think say that they risky?
That yeah, say I say risk is small because now also who they go to that community then they so no go know which one will be infected or not. So say I say risk is small.
So apart from this challenge, any other one day?
No, not at all.
That's na Mohamed Bangura, school pikin na the Baptist Secondary School, Nakasiri, Samu Chiefdom. In been they talk to Aisatu Kamara. Now we take a short music break.
Take them like coronavirus, whether the same way called COVID-19, can spread. But when they can protect ourselves and we begin them for make we not get them. Do ya? Make we listen to waiting the well-bodied people and they talk about. So we self go talk the right thing so we fumble and paddy them. So they go know how to protect themselves. Call 117 and it's them you begin feel fever. Or you get cough, you they feel tired, bad one. You they sneeze, or you know they blow spine. Call 117, you can left now, then go help you.
Whether you not picking no, or big bossy no, we all for the
vaccine, water or up sanitizer. Whether you in a school, also place, market, or any side. We boku people then they
so make we the wax. We and then can touch boku side or sing the way get jam. So make we all the wax we and boku them.
Painting water or up sanitizer.
Where we come out na school.
Also place market or any side. We boku people then they
we all for the wax we and before we touch or eat chop. Make we not the touch we must know so yeah them. Cause we know the big. Let we protect we self, make we no go sick. Let we take them within them where we the church up. Not a near person we get fever. They call for this whether you not picking no or big bossy no. We all for the
vaccine, water or up sanitizer. Whether you in a school, also place, market, or any side. We boku people then they
so make we the wax. We and then can touch boku side or sing the way get jam. So make we all the wax we and boku them.
Painting water or up sanitizer.
Where we come out na school.
Also place, market, or any side. We boku people then they
we all for the wax we and before we touch or eat chop. Make we know the touch we must know so yeah them. Cause we know the peak. Let we protect we self, make we know go sick. So take you them how you dey waka. Mix up and water be you party most of them people where they watch we begin. Then we tell them but this bad sick yeah. Anytime you want for cough or sneeze, over your mouth I know. If you inside parts by your elbow. If not tissue or pocket and throw in a dirty box wanted.
And wash you unwanted.
Whether you not picking no or big bossy no. We all for the
painting water or up sanitizer. Whether you in a school, also place, market, or any side. We boku people then they
so make we the wax. We and then can touch boku side or sing the way get down.
That's a Corona song where Sawahid been do for we. Welcome to the second segment of the program. Let we tap Corona Na Salone. Members say na Radio Mount Aureol-CTN na Frabe College na Freetown join hand with partner radio station them for bring come this program to you. And na Foundation Hirondelle na Switzerland they battle this program with funding from the H2H Network Fund and the Danish Refuges Council. Inside the program, we dey talk about how for keep we picking them safe na school as them they prepare them for take them public examination. And we dey look at the role of the school authority them for keep the picking them safe na school. Me now na presenter Bintu Mansare. We dey go now na Koinadugu district on the other far end of the country with another border with Guinea for know how the school authority them they make sure say the school picking them stay safe from the coronavirus sickness. Margaret Miso Mansare, we report on a Kabbalah, been talk to Joseph Mansare, one of the principal of Kabbalah Secondary School.
Yeah, in the first place, of course, we all know say COVID is real, except for that novice, we still they take and say this sickness not real at all, but not a good disease at all. So, of course, when we get this information say for open schools. So may not be a challenging thing because we get for prepare ourselves very, very well. So that's being able to make a try for organize a cleaning of the school compound. So of course we try to do that. We invite some of the youths then at this chiefdom, and thank God the chairman, part of my staff, a member of my staff in the school here. So we do the thorough cleaning at the compound. And the next thing we have been doing now that's for alert the teachers then, because we need the service of all the teachers for these SS3 students. Because looking at this COVID, they're very serious. So we're not going to choke the beginning in one class. And because of that, we will need the service of, if not 100, but 80 to 90% of the staff. So I'll be alert them through a WhatsApp group because you know been fine again for at least call staff meeting where we know able at least get face mask and other things then. So we'll alert them at the WhatsApp group and inform them, say them for report na school. So when they report, of course to me it's been so encouraging. It's been so encouraging because I've been get a very good turnout of the staff. Only that for the students, the very first days, the few days we start, we reopen that have been Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They've been somehow challenging because most of the people are not be able to come. And also the few we come, they're not be able to follow all the protocols for observe this COVID because some of them not get face mask. And thank God, we government will not pay subsidy to the school, so be able to provide Veronica buckets. We at least try to get enough of them so that when they begin, they come inside and go able to wash their hands there. And also we try to practice the social distancing. And they tell we say the beginning for day 25 now each class. Since we get this from ministry and then we all know the kind of trouble where this COVID gets. So we try to follow the procedure.
25 per class? 25 per class.
Okay. We try to follow the procedure so that we make, I use the whole senior school, the section there we take care of.
So what of in the area of the face masks where they picking them for use, really for protect themselves so that the spread of COVID-19 will minimize?
Yeah, like I say, that'll be a challenging thing because ministry will not promise to provide the face mask, but they're not providing it here so in time. So it is somehow challenging, you know, and me say it's difficult for say let Peking go out because you know get the face mask. But thank God with the intervention of some authorities like the LUC, they come around, you observe, say, oh, most of the people are not get them. So automatically, you know, an energetic woman, so you can get for call the man with the head COVID-19 at the district, Mr. Bar. So instead of get for council, we aid, and it can provide for all the people who been in a school lab every day. And also before that, we get energetic and hardworking old students chairman for Koinadu Wiawe instead being council with intervention because he can't see when we try to do the cleaning, and from there he been get for intervene for help the teachers for get the face mask because you know go find you as a teacher you go teach you force the beginner for use face mask then you not get so but thank God we able get for all the staff.
Okay. So like from when on our open school on the 1st of July, now the Peking and they prepare already timetable day out, waiting for go write the external exams. So like people say we so can one from when on our open if not get any Peking we been on the Kamna school we don't complain see or in order feel bright.
We don't get any challenge like that for now because of course as a school like I tell you we're very proactive. Before they come inside we check them. Only that we don't get temperatures for check. The machine.
So what you can use?
We try to make sure they wash their hands then properly.
Okay.
We ensure that each of the way they come inside wash their hand, and also we check them at the gate for CC they get the face mask. The one they will not get to, they encourage them. Make sure you get them. You know there.
But after
the first week, I've been start for ask them, let them go try for get them. So, but when I start for do that, I lock the gate. Then they go now also and collect the old one. They can use them. The one they also we get hand clean and they also encourage them for use them.
For letting use
yes, at least they will try for prevent we safe. Because not of only them, but me and they as well as the staff.
So what of like the cake soap or the liquid soap owner they use for them picking up for letting go they wash their hand them? how I can go about like forget this?
Now the liquid soap, like I say, the only school the provider.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the money we government
they send, of course. So if they see the rubber and they out safe, then liquid soap will buy enough of them, so now they will be used now they get.
Okay. One way like we government been pull na do through the NACOVAC na that the picking them for make sure say then carry with food and people them they know they encourage them for let them come sell food na then different side there because like when they go come they go want for church and that rush up business they so like them be sell everybody in parents make for them food let them carry time and also the issue of lunch again because when they give their lunch they go use them for let them go and interact. So, like, when I really they observe this particular one?
Of course, then a very, very challenging. The very first days when we start, or we just reopen, we start for practice that. But let me tell you, the next year we are seeing at the fence, they begin job.
For go find food.
For go look for food. Because most of them say the parents are not able to provide them bowl of food for them.
That's not Joseph Mansare, the principal na Kabbalah Secondary School. Same way so, Margaret's been asked the same question, so Fasila say, the acting head teacher na the Al-Hakram Islamic Primary School na Kabbalah.
And first of all, try to divide the class to two. Then we find vertical bucket, we subsidize and put water inside and soup. We say any picking for kind inside for washing hand before you enter to the class. And the first thing you do.
So, like we na pull cup for buy the Veronica bucket and also the
we
soup.
We just subsidize and find we own way.
Okay.
And bucket and for put on for we know say for just for proper hygiene. That's what we do.
Una not get any support from the Ministry of Education?
At all.
Okay, now let me come to the area of face masks. Face masks now one of the way body people they recommend say people for always make sure say they use them when they're in public places and different side them. So like in this particular case, the picking them with the class 6, then they use them face masks there.
Of course, then they use them. Not everybody get access to the face masks.
So the one that we not get with you, Nakindo?
We don't try for talk to them, let them talk to them parents there, let them give them face masks. By the time they go take the exam now, everybody will able get.
But you know they allow them for let them go?
Yeah, we allow them let them go take class.
So what's of like in the area of them picking their so with the primary school for go out for lunch and also where government actually let them parents then will they prepare food for them. This they happen or is it that you know they allow them up till now for let them go for lunch?
Then they go for lunch, but the parents they prepare food for them. Every day we see them they buy food now the market day, that's how we see them.
The market woman then they carry food now the place.
Yes.
In this case also, social distance. How many picking per each class?
We of course will get 50 picking in our class. We try to divide the class to 25.
That's na Fasila say the acting head teacher na Al-Akram Islamic Primary School na Kabbalah. From Koinadugu when na other border with Guinea, we dey go na the southern region for continue for Fenot waiting the school authority them they do for keep the picking them safe na school. For sake of that, Timothy Luceni bin go back na the Queen of Rosgi Secondary School KRSS who say meet sensitization campaign on infection prevention and control be dey go on. And been talked to Paul Amadou Shenge Jr., the regional coordinator, Southern Region for the National Council for Civic Education and Development, when them organized the sensitization campaign.
Immediately when COVID began, the National Council for Civic Education and Development been done to do several campaign measures, then don't explain to people in the preventive and protective measures about COVID and all of this. And we don't target schools because schools then don't reopen. People are not being listening to radio. Most people know they listen to radio. Most people know they know they watch TV and all. And now, because schools then reopen, we target school picking them so that then go back and spread this message here in communities. Then they in the very large number in this country. And if we target them, we talk to them and explain to them very well for the COVID and the preventive measures. Assure say that student they win a very good student or pupil, go back and explain this thing here to people in community, explain and to parents them, for make them continue for uphold government and medical practitioners then statement as regard preventing COVID from spreading.
So, when I get targeted schools, or when they do all secondary schools and
we get targeted schools. We get selected secondary schools, particularly schools with very, very high population, and also eventually we do one right across the country. For me, I did one right across the region, where I don't know, I get for go na Pujon, Bont or Moyamba, as the case may be.
So let me look at what we want to achieve at the end of the day.
What we want to achieve at the end of the day na getting the awareness, that people get the awareness that COVID is here, and at the end of the day, we join hand with government for kick COVID out of Sierra Leone, because just like I said, 2 campaigns there, they do 1 clean examinations also. Join our government for improving the human capital development by getting quality and clean examinations. Because when people spy, at the end of the day, then get high grades, that is no show of knowing what you think say you sabi. And the human capital no go be developed by spying. The human capital will only be developed by doing the very best things the way you know say you're capable for do. Getting the grades where you eligible for get.
So you think say this is not the right time where you wanna embark on this program?
Yeah, everything gets in time. It is rightful because now just some few months ago, 1 year ago, where government of Sierra Leone begin for push the National Council for Civic Education and Development, or institute the National Council for Civic Education and Development, because we've been doing a lot of processes, and now we don't begin for move out, even though some other areas na Freetown be done the Yeribo civic education long time, and then they feel civic education back in the western area. We don't begin feel civic education in the southern region or the regions then in the last 6, 7, 8 months, but not on a big scale, not just on minimal scale. Now we want to go wide on a large scale. So I sure say this is not the right time also.
That's now Paul Amadou Shenge Jr., the Regional Coordinator, Southern Region for the National Council for Civic Education and Development, been the talk to Timothy Luceni. Also, Timothy be asked one teacher and a KRSS, Ibrahim Sa, but the measures where them be don't put in place for protect the school picking them.
As you can see, the same safety measures that we are being deployed by government are the same safety measures we are adopting as well. For instance, we are maintaining the social distances. I told some other journalists a few minutes ago that before this time, our classroom used to be 2, but those classrooms have been divided into, like for instance, commerce have been divided into 5 classrooms, art have been divided into 5 classrooms. Home science have been divided to 5 classrooms. That tells you these are the few mechanisms we are putting in place to ensure that the safety of the student is enhanced. And also again, the use of face masks. As you can see, me, the teacher, is using a face mask. We are also laying emphasis on the use of face masks, and there is a bucket all over at various strategic points so that the TPs will wash their hands. These are some of the measures we are employing to ensure their safety as a school.
So let me look at the challenges. One may come with a face mask. You as a head of school, how you go for say that school people get a face mask, or what are the actions you want to take?
Well, it's very simple. When you come without a face mask, we'll ask you home. And more especially, government has supplied every student, every people is here with a face mask. So if you come without a face mask, it's a negligence on your side. So we'll ask you to go home.
So government does supply these schools face masks to all school people?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So let me look at the hand washing, the social distancing. How will they maintain that as well?
Of course, it's one of our priorities. Much more emphasis are laid on that particular area. Social distancing, you can move right on our classes. We don't play with it. If you those that came around this morning, I lay emphasis again at devotion that everybody must maintain those rules we have placed in our classroom. Nobody should cluster chairs. And even when you want to go out to ease yourself, you must not go in clusters, but you go one at a time.
So let me look at the health of the kingdom. If somebody shows the signs and symptoms and where the body will command them struggle, and so if we get a symptoms patient that way they know they show the signs and symptoms, how not going for detect them? They will not get any test kits like way they test the kingdom?
Of course, my brother, that area, we are not medically oriented people. We are teachers teaching various subjects. But when we realize somebody is sick, we usually ask you to go home. And besides, we have hospital on our own. And the nurse, as you can see from the far distance, the nurse is around. So when you are sick, we'll just ask you to go to that hospital. When the hospital, when the nurse sound you and they recommend, we'll ask you to go home.
So how will they ask from Picking for me to go about the safe testing of this COVID-19 as a school authority? When I can ask them for go about the testing?
Of course, we as a school, we've not embarked on that, but they are coming from various, so maybe from the home, they are embarking on the testing of this one because we don't have equipment to test them.
That's na Ibrahim Sir, teacher na the Queen of the Rose Secondary School, QRSS Nabo, been they talk to Timothy Luceni. Same way so, Timothy been talk to the senior prefect na QRSS, Usana Tumansare, about the measure them where the school authority them don't put in place for ensure them safety.
We safety very much assured because we secure now the school because we wash our hands and we always put on a face mask as you can see. Even devotion today, while on devotion we put on a face mask and we need a joke for what we are at all. For the social distance in our class, that one I can say we really assured because both in our class the spacious, the chairs and all they together and even we serve the great one here or governor they like school open so that they can all be company, they close the company, not they sleep at all. So for that social distancing and for the washing of hands, put on a face mask, people we self know the deadly disease where right now we're in the pandemic, COVID-19, so we very much say in danger, so we always secure.
You now head there at this school year. What are your actions and what you say first? You can't be the colleagues over there, they can not get a face mask from there before.
Well, for that part, because the first day will come, we get most of the students will not be get face masks, so we send them back home. Because you know, the students they always take something serious, so we send them home. So we send them back home, and they come back with them face masks. Now all the measures and the way we use. Because we tell them for clean compound, punish them, they go still come again and knock out the face mask. So when they send them home, the next day they come with the face mask.
So let me look at safety. If somebody they show the signs and symptoms. When again, anybody will take care of like medical attendant with children at the school or just thing.
Well, no. What if anybody show the signs and symptoms, we will call the health center. We call a community which will so they can attend to the person for emergency.
So what are some of the challenges that you want to face with the use of face masks, the social distancing, hand washing?
Lots and lots of challenges. In this area of social distancing, it's not easy for like people in school and not going for organization talk, so now that's now one challenge. Then the other one for the face mask, some people they say it's really suffocating for put on face mask every day, put on your nose and this that, you know, going for pull arms, so it's really challenging. Some people even pull arms, if I tell us to put on your face mask, we'll go with teacher because I'm always I need to put on your face mask all the time, so that is really frustrating as well.
So how assured will our safety in the school?
Very much assured because if we put on a face mask, wash your hands, and teachers are all aware and they can make sure we stay.
That's na Usana Tumansare, the senior prefect na the Queen of the Rose Secondary School, QRSS Nabo, been a talk to Timothy Luceni. Well, now so we the end the maiden edition of the program where we call Let We Tap Corona Na Salone. Members say you dey listen to the program Let We Tap Corona Na Salone where Radio Mount Aureol-CTN Afrabe College na Freetown join hand with partner radio station them for bring come to you. And Foundation Hirondelle na Switzerland, they battle this program with funding from the H2H Network Fund and the Danish Refuges Council. Plenty thank you to reporter them we help we for put the program together. We assistant producer Victoria Musu Conte, producer Ahmed Musa, senior producer Musa Baisise, and the executive producer James Tambalebi. Until we meet again for the next edition, let we all put hands together for protect we picking them na school. Me now na presenter Bintu Mansare, they say tata.
I got this message for you. Corona, now they picking, now they watch first. Let me tell you the truth.
Social distancing,